Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Basement Quality Banter, episode 35. World renowned, infamous internet based podcasting. Hello to Angus,
Hello to Luke. Yeah, we're world famous in Nicaragua, Brazil, uh,
New
well,
Zealand, and
New Zealand.
Australia.
What were the other countries last time? Um,
Oh, I don't know. There was, I think Canada was in there. I think we've lost some of our Canadian friends, obviously.
Canada. Who was that? There was one. Like, I did some news because we had some country listens, and I said hello in whatever language it was. What's that?
See, if you weren't doing a beer podcast, you might actually remember stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point, actually.
So tonight I am sipping on the a Shepherd Neame Christmas Ale for something different from the Faversham Brewery in Kent. It is a amber, and for those watching at home, it is a crystal clear amber,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah, I
made
can.
with a bit of crystal malt. You get a bit of dried fruit, a bit of spice. It is 7%, 500 ml, and it is lovely for watching Australia take more wickets against the Poms.
Yeah, Shepherd Neame makes some great beers. I
Mhm.
you'd be part of Beer Thread's Shepherd Neame Double Stout.
Yeah,
Uh, very long running joke.
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. And
I've
yourself
got a Pikes Beer Company Pilsner. So that's the
with the fishy, yep,
one, and that's the beer, which is pretty damn clear to be honest.
lovely. Is it like a sort of traditional pilsner with that sort of noble hop, sort of, or is it like a New World pilsner?
No, traditional. It's got
Yeah,
crap ton of SARS in it.
yeah, lovely, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep.
SARS is that's my favorite noble hop. SARS. I put it in lots of things I shouldn't.
Yeah, I love SARS and if mainstream Tui's pills, 15 years ago, had 100% SARS pills that they did for a couple of years. And that was a cracker of a beer, but I guess the popularity and the cost or something like that meant that a big mainstream beer like that couldn't happen. But that was a cracker of a beer, it really was. So our first story this evening was going to be about the GABS Hottest 100. However, yesterday the new owners, spearheaded by Sydney Brewery's founder, Dr. Jerry Schwartz, have called a pause to reevaluate. And so 2026 has been basically paused but cancelled. And you've got some ideas why.
I've Angus's top five reasons that they have put a pause on Gabs. Oh,
Bring them on.
oh, sorry, I'm just trying to scroll on my iPad and it's gone crazy. So, in the spirit of being a world famous internet influencer, here is Angus's top five reasons that Gabs is paused until 2027. They can't see any possible way to interest people in another year where 130 of their 150 taps are hazies. So they're waiting until 2027 when the haze craze finally fucks right off. Four, they've hit peak gabs with the invite of Stefan, Schlenkerla, and Delirium, and are afraid of not hitting those lofty heights again.
Yep.
Number three, hoping the excise freeze will mean new breweries because the overpaid intern doesn't just want to do a rehash of last year's marketing.
Yep.
Number six, 2027 release of 6G internet will fry everyone's brains into thinking that 130 of 150 taps of unpopular out of fashion hazes are awesome and they'll reduce their operating costs and actually only make a small loss this time.
Ah,
And the number one reason that Gabs has been postponed until 2027, the Riaz Ahmed Goa Shai's book, The Religion of God, predicts the world's end in 2026 by asteroid impact, and they are hedging their bets.
love it. Absolutely love it. Um, all of those could be true. And I think Angus's infamous predictions might be well worthy. The fact that we're mentioning some of our internet fame is Spotify gave us some stats today of our podcast Wrapped, and our four most popular countries, of course, were Brazil, New Zealand, Nicaragua, and Australia, of course. And so you've got some Brazil beer news to appeal to our Brazilian fans.
First of all, I'll say Boa noche, Brazil, which translates as good evening, Brazil. Possibly not news, but more confirmation that things are the same all around the world, no matter where you are. Appears to be quite healthy growth in the craft breweries in Brazil, but the beer market is dominated by three companies, taking up 96% of the market share. Surprise to no one. The largest is Ambev, which is the Brazilian arm of InBev. Heineken Brazil, still not, I guess, owned by one of the two majors, but certainly Heineken is absolutely massive. And Brazil Kirin, obviously part of the Kirin conglomerate.
Mm,
So same old, even though people are speaking Portuguese.
yeah.
And again, the taxation system sounds disappointingly all too familiar, with 56% of the price of a beer being tax. And so apparently they've got a proposed selective tax reforms that have gone through the parliament, and they're still needing sign off, ratification, whatever the term is. Uh, on the surface, the proposed changes sound great, with tax calculated on drink, on alcohol strength. So obviously your
Okay.
spirits and wines would get taxed at a much higher rate.
Mm.
But the starting tax rate is much higher than is currently on beers, so not really a win. So disappointingly, all sounds all too familiar.
Another
Big
country
big
that's
big boys and
yeah
big
struggling.
boys and tax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And what you have, Hespana Brewery has taken out best beer in Brazil.
Spana. Yeah, this brewery sounds really cool actually. So it took out best beer in Brazil against 900 other labels. I assume that means beers. So that was their home brew and craft beer competition. And their winning beer was Fruitopia Amberana, a Caterina Sour with fruit and a touch of wood. So the fruit combined with the local Amberana wood chips and using Belgian brewing techniques makes this a very interesting beer for me. I'd love to get my hands on one. Sounds pretty cool. And interestingly, the Catarina Sour is the first internationally recognized Brazilian beer style. So it's pretty cool.
Brick Lane did one of their trilogy of Fear beers had Amberana wood in it, and I'd never had such a it's sort of like a spicy cinnamon wood, and it just gave it
Okay.
so much flavor. It's such an amazing wood. I'd love to like, and I've had it in a big imperial stout now. Having it in a lighter, sour, fruity would be phenomenal.
Yeah, it really kind of remind me of um God, I'm mental blank. The grandfather, the oaked beer that who's the other place in Salisbury?
Ballistic,
Ballistic. God. Yeah, Ballistic had a that and an oaked pale ale, which was I always loved because it was just different.
yeah.
Um, and some of the other beers that Hesfana have are one called Fresh, made with cashew, peach, a local plum, kaja, and pink lemon, which all sounds pretty interesting. Cassia Selvagem, a wild capture ferment, and then Shine, which features sea salt and a mixed fermentation. So really,
Guzo.
really cool sounding beers. And apparently 80% of their beers are all fruited sours. With barrel aging, not with barrel aging, kettles,
Yeah.
all kind of, which yeah, it sounds like a really good adventure.
Cashew would be really hard from the oil content to have in a beer too. Like you'd kill your head and everything. But um, yeah, Caterina Sours, fruit beers, and it just sounds yeah, sounds amazing. How many South Americans does it take to change a light bulb?
Uh,
A Brazilian.
Brazilian.
Sorry, dad joke. Had to go
Uh,
with it. And
it's
in our other
less than basic level.
yeah, in our other country news.
Nicaragua beer news. Nothing.
No.
The only recent thing I found was Heineken buying out their largest independent beer company. So that sucks as news. So let's move on.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So voting has opened for the GABS Hottest 100 in its new ownership, of course. There are some good campaigns running already, like Mountain Culture's Ted Lasso inspired Believe, Your Mate's terrible Thunderstruck performance. So people are having a bit of fun with it. Yes, it's a popularity contest, and those with the big marketing budgets will do well. But I think it's also insight into the industry, the people who are actually taking the time to vote, um, that they're being honest and liking what they like most of the time. I love dissecting the lists when they're released, like the top 200, top 100 independent, best new beers. So jump online, pick your five favorite beers from the year, and if you can pick independent, do so to help their numbers. And if your brewery or beer isn't listed, you can submit a request, which goes to the brewery for consideration if they want to be a part of it. So, it is a popularity contest. Um, it does sort of shape, you sort of see what people are voting for famous things. They do they have tried to cut down over the years on false posts or, breweries just putting heaps of posts in for themselves. You're not allowed to, give free beers for a post and stuff like that. So we'll see how that turns out. They usually do it around Invasion Day. They release the list, um, usually the Triple J Hottest 100 now as well. So look, I don't think it's as popular as it was, but I'll still put a vote in, and it might be a bit of fun. So yeah, your thoughts on Hottest 100?
Um, yeah, I've followed along online the last couple of years. Haven't actually been to a venue to listen to the Hottest 100, so
Mm.
maybe my time's due.
Yeah,
Uh, assume Hiker would have something running. They're fairly local to me.
yeah. So EB by Hiker did one last year, and their Horizon got 38, I believe, which is a huge effort for such a small brewery that doesn't distribute nationally. And they're the ones that I love to see um, when you hear some small brewery out of nowhere, make it into the top 50, and it's just like, okay, I've got to go find that beer. That's the sort of thing I love. I'm not, Bolter, Stone and Wood have always been up the top, but so's I think Bridge Road Beachy Pale Ale's been up the top for ages. I think Cooper's Pale Ale number two last year. So
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah.
so there's lots to love. Some I don't know if they've changed the rules on the ginger beers. I hope they have, but yeah,
Yes, I remember that. Remember
yeah.
that rant.
So
Oh,
speaking of crazy beers, one of my favourite producers of Big Shed have been locked out of their shed. With the lawyers locking it up yesterday, believing that they were fulfilling an arrangement that didn't seem to be documented. The future is now unknown. They did have a period of VA not long ago, and I'm surprised that a repayment scheme or deal wasn't locked in ink. Um, I'm not sure how they've got to this position. I've had a lot of really nice Big Shed beers in the past. Probably Golden Stout Time's probably the most popular. Um, I really hope it works out for suppliers and staff at least. We I've seen a couple of breweries where the landlords have literally locked up and taken ownership of everything that's inside for outstanding payments with the lawyers in hand. So for it to get to that stage when they thought that they were fulfilling what the landlords wanted, it must be pretty bad.
Yeah, normally when a VA goes tits up and goes straight into liquidation, it's the point of the VA is to try and avoid liquidation and get your creditors to agree to a different pathway.
Mm,
And just because you're the landlord doesn't mean you own all the stuff.
yep.
Like there's a process that's got to happen. So there's secured debts and that sort of thing that have to be worked through. So just because you're the landlord doesn't mean you get to lock everything up and then sell it off or
Yeah,
recoup money that way. They've got to be a bit careful doing that sort of stuff. But yeah, seems seems a shame.
it does.
Golden
And
Start Time was always a great one. That was a great beer.
yeah, yeah. And it seems odd that they didn't have the arrangement that they thought that they were meeting.
Yeah, that
It
was
seemed to be
strange.
in paper. I think that's the bit that gets me. So that's really sad. Next story: Chuck Hahn helps his daughter-in-law release Daughter, a fruity beers brand. Haven't we done this before? Are we judging women's palates in regard to beer? I think the fruity beer phase is gone. I knew a few guys who actually loved the fruity beers, but they were embarrassed to drink it because of the marketing, the packaging, and everything like that. I'm sure the flavors will be great, um, and the flavors will be on point, and I'm unsure about the branding. I guess if they want to market it more as an alternative to have at the brewery, I get it. So they're launching with a passion fruit ale, and soon there'll be a lychee and a watermelon ale. I know Chuck will do an amazing job with his brew team and his daughter-in-law, who's the general manager, to get some great flavors in these beers. But I don't see that anymore. I don't see the market.
Yeah, it depends how they market. I guess if it's yeah, I know it's a hard one because I mean there's still a market for fruity beers and
Some people like it.
maybe yeah, maybe they're taking some of the power back with releasing a female owned fruity beers label. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, look, yeah, watch this space. I guess I could be reading it completely wrong. The fact that a lot of brands have gone by the wayside in the fruity beers might be a great opportunity for them to come back into the space. So I
Yeah, like you know that the beers are going to be
top notch.
really well
Yep,
designed and produced, packaged,
yep,
and probably the most important thing is that they'll be consistent
yeah,
with Uncle Chuck involved to some degree, I suppose.
yep,
And I think that's probably one of the problems with fruited sours and kettles and things like they're all can be seen as like an easy way to do it and not tightly controlled and every batch being the same. So if you love batch one of the passion fruit ale and you get the next lot and it's not quite the same as you won't remember, um, kind of hard to keep supporting inconsistent beer.
yeah,
So maybe that's one thing that'll help them is Uncle Chuck been involved.
100%. My next one was Padre Brewing opened in Miami. From the shots, it looks like an amazing venue, and
Does look pretty cool.
the launch was really well supported. So much so, I think they took Monday off just to reset because they got absolutely smashed. So all the best to Mitch and the team. I think a bike ride down to Miami is on the cards at some stage because I would love to check this place out. It looks really cool. The branding, the theme, everything looks really cool. So yeah, we
Yeah, we'll
might
see
have
if we
to,
can work that out together.
yeah, we might have to go for a ride. Yep. Um, Beer Advent calendars are alive. So far, they look pretty good with a couple of the big brands only supporting independent breweries. I really like the comparison post for those rich enough to purchase more than one. Um, Maybe these aren't as dead as I thought. Lots of people who I haven't heard from a while have started posting their beer advent calendars. I'm really looking forward to starting my 12 days of stoutness coming up in a couple of weeks. So, um, yeah. Have you seen a lot more beer advents than you thought?
Yeah, I've started seeing posts coming through. Very quickly followed by bitching from people who haven't got to open their cans yet, and you've ruined it.
Oh, you spoiled it. You didn't
every
post
every
before.
time.
You posted before 4 p.m. That's not the
Yeah,
rule.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's
that
always
was
a bit
kind of
of
funny.
that. Yeah. Um, my next one is Stone Curlew Ferments launches this Saturday at EB by Hiker. One of our favourite brewers, Jake Harrison, has again dipped his skills into barrel-aged funkiness with a grisette kicking it off. A master of mixed culture, we have seen what Jake can do with him running the brilliant Bunker project at the peak of ballistic popularity. I can't make it to the launch. I'll be working. However, I will be looking to grab a bottle of my Jake's fresh, funky interpretations of traditional styles. And I also love the stone curlew. It's a really cool bird that makes a really cool noise. I used to see heaps of them when I worked up at Kenmore early mornings, pulling up on the bike, and the curlews were running around. So it's he's brewed them and aged them at EB by Hiker, and they've bottled up the barrels. It's been a you know a passion project for Jake, and yeah, the launch will be, I think it's from noon this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go. I got my wife's studio's Christmas party at 3 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon, so I might rip in at 12 and hang there for a couple of hours.
Yeah,
And I've got to talk to Jake because I had a night out with him at the end of the beer awards,
yeah,
and I've got a feeling he told me that he was doing mixed ferments at Hiker,
yeah,
but to not say anything because it was still under wraps and no hadn't launched or anything yet.
yeah, yeah,
So I think I quite dutifully completely forgot all about it. So I've got to ask him about that because I've got a vague memory of him and I talking.
yeah. Fantastic. Well, if you do end up going, grab me a bottle of each of the three releases, and I will definitely give you some cashola for that. Because I know how good. Well, the grisette. I think they should call it a brisette, but I think it'll be great. And yeah, depending on how this test match goes, they might have a decent crowd there too. It
If it's
might not
still on.
if it's still well. It started Thursday, so 2.5 days. Yeah, look, he could have a good crowd coming back from the Gabbatoir if that's the case. So yeah.
Yeah,
But that was all my beer news. You had some World Cup 2027 news?
yeah, that's on my beer news as well. So onto my rugby section. So they've released the draw for the 27 World Cup. Uh, we're in the same pool as New Zealand and Chile and China. So Chile and China is certainly tier two. I think this is China's first time in the World Cup.
I was going to say I don't think I've seen China in the World Cup before.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about Chile either. I'm not sure whether Chile have been in a World Cup before either.
Yep,
So watched an interview with Wilso, and they're asking about when they want to play New Zealand first game or like kind of save them for later years, and he's like, "Nah, mate, first game, opening game of the World Cup, Australia, New Zealand. That's what we wear the jersey for, those big games." And he's
yeah,
like, "Nah, get stuck into them straight away." So I don't know if you were looking at the current rankings,
yep.
um, Australia will get second in the pool, so that means that they then play the runner-up of Pool B,
Mm.
which will probably be Japan, and then
Ouch.
we go into a quarter. Then we go into and Japan are not an easy team.
No.
Australia only just won against them by 8 points or something at the start of the spring test. So that's not a given.
No.
And then if we beat Japan and get through to the quarters, then we're playing England.
Yeah.
And kind of if you're looking at current rankings now, England's going to win that game.
Yeah.
But the strange thing that I see is that they've got number one and number two teams, South Africa and New Zealand, in the same side of the pool game on the pools. So what that means is that I think they're guaranteed, if assuming they win all the games like you'd expect them to, they're guaranteed to play each other in the quarters. Obviously, someone loses, they're out. So in the first round of knockout games, you've got rid of either number one and number two in the world. Now,
You want
surely you want to give them a chance at number one and number two to get to the final and play that game in the finals. That would be an absolute belter of a game.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they've but is it a random draw? Like do they pull
yeah,
names
yeah.
out of
So
the hat?
yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of blabber about the draw being rigged to force one of the Northern Hemisphere teams through. So England have again, based on current rankings, they have an absolutely dead easy pool with Wales and I can't remember the other two teams, but like they'll win that
Yeah.
surely. I mean Wales are at the absolute rock bottom of an ebb at the moment. Um, Obviously a very proud rugby country, so they could swing back and be a real challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, it's completely random draw. Like the six pools, the top six teams currently ranked now are put in those pools,
Yeah.
and then all the remainders, it's all a um, ping pong ball
Yeah.
out of a roller cage thing.
I'm
So yeah,
glad
it's
you
all
said
it's all
Rolly Cage. I had flashbacks of, Priscilla Queen of the Desert then, so I'm glad you said ping pong ball out of a Rolly Cage
Yeah.
there. I don't know if you remember that scene, folks. Maybe I'm a bit old or twisted, but yeah. um, On to F1, thinking of ping pong balls that are papaya coloured. McLaren showed that Norris is their man, not pitting Oscar because they were worried about double stacking. They have apologised. Oscar was well on track to win. Some complicated maths means that all three drivers, including Max, could win the championship. Um, Even the official F1 website had Norris down for one driver's title, which is interesting. Um,
Oops.
your prediction is on the cards because I think Mark Webber is on the phone. Yuki Tsunoda has lost his seat at Red Bull with Isaac Hadjar being promoted next year, and Arvid Lindblad joins Racing Bulls, which is a really cool story. I'm going to look into that a bit more. But and it might be okay for Isaac with the new regulations because the cars won't be purely to Max's specifications because the dreaded second Red Bull seat has always been the fact that the car's set up for Max, who likes things precisely the way he likes it. To be honest, I think Max has got the best chance out of the three. He's got the hunger, he's got the talent. Um, but your predictions could definitely still come into play.
Someone's getting crashed into.
Yeah. Oh, we saw it
Someone's
in the
crashing into
V8s
someone.
last week. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you think there's a bit of AI, sort of,
Just
shit posting a bit too much, or
yeah, yeah. Like there's been
clickbait?
a whole bunch of articles about F1. Oscar storming out of McLaren because he's got to deal with Ferraris quitting before the last race of the season. Race directors piling shit on McLaren for their crappy pit management and accusing them of playing games and not treating F1 with respect. McLaren actively choosing a bad pit strategy to screw Oscar over,
Yeah,
even at the expense of Max winning the race. Maybe there's a little bit of truth to that one, but um, I'm getting a little bit bored of, a little bit sick of all this AI shit and content publishers. I won't call them news outlets, posting complete clickbait articles where they bait one side of supporters and the other gloating supporters get on, and it's all just a big steaming pile of just rancid shit posting.
They showed a picture
Um,
of Mark Webber on the phone, and they said, "Oh, Mark Webber, on the phone, angry to." We don't know who he was talking to. Could have been talking to his family at home. Like,
we've been checking messages.
yeah,
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 yeah. I'm
look,
getting a bit,
yeah,
getting a little bit tired of it.
it was a shit call. They apologized. Do they think? Do I think that they think Lando's their favorite? Yeah, I do. Um, do they not like Oscar? No, I think they do like him. They want, got him the world championship in the constructors. Like, um, yeah, he's been on the bad end of some calls, and it doesn't look good. But if anything, it's playing into Max's hands, and I still think your prediction is going to come. So this time next week, we'll definitely know if you put the money on the right horse. And speaking of putting the money on the right horse,
Yeah, maybe I should put some money on that. Yeah.
yeah, you can probably, the way the betting is these days, you can probably will Max take out McLaren and win. Yeah, R360 has been put on hold for a year, so that means all of those defectors that were just about to
Yeah.
announce that they signed these $1 million deals have looking to come home with their tail between their legs or seek jobs elsewhere. It's all a bit iffy. Zach Lomax is looking at a potential 90% pay cut to go to a rugby team because in his contract he can't play for another NRL team. So he was looking at French rugby where he could get 70K a year. He was on 700K a year at the Eels. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
do we
Unfortunate.
all sort of feel a bit suck eggs for that one? Like, you know, what's happening with Ryan Pappenhausen and some of these other big names who have been granted these conditional releases from their NRL contracts, ready to make the announcement that they're joining Rugby
Yeah.
360. And yeah, is it a you're trying to chase the money, so tough titties? Do we think R360 is going to even
Get up.
step up? Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think look, there's been a long history where not just rugby league supporters, but rugby union as well, where players have bailed out of their contract to go somewhere else for more money. That's not been accepted all that well. Big one is Willie
Dockers
Mason.
the same.
Like
Yep.
he's still giving shit about bailing on the dogs way
Yep.
back.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I don't think Zach Lomax is going to have any friends in rugby league, and you just like once someone's bailed on you, you're not going to employ them again. So I doubt the Eagles are going to take him back
No.
unless they give him a 90% pay cut as well.
Yeah. Well, that's it. His
Uh,
contract is somehow he's not allowed to play for another NRL team if he does come back. So that's interesting.
yeah,
He'll probably end up in French or Japanese rugby or something like that.
yeah, and because he's not a known commodity in rugby union, he like the fact he got however much money in league is irrelevant. Like it's just an unknown person trying to play first year rugby. He's going to get first year contract, right?
Yeah, and it's a real pity because these elite players only have a very short period of time to make as much money as they can. I get that, and their managers take a huge chunk off the top of that, who have probably been helping these decisions, so they get more money. But it's I don't know. He's a good player. He's got skills, but you know going from 700K a year to 70K and relocating to Europe.
Like cutting costs and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why he announced so early when so many of them didn't. Like, was he?
Well, he so that's it. Everyone's the big players that have been granted a release haven't announced they're going to 360 because they
Yeah,
were waiting to the whole comp to release a couple of the big names all at once. So Ryan Pappenhausen has been given his immediate release from the Storm, but no one knows why. We
yeah,
all
right.
assume it's because of R360, but they haven't called it out yet.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wonder why I announced that seems a bit strange.
Mm. Anyway, jump on the Basement Quality Banter group Facebook and post what you think. Um, Big shout out to our friend Daniel Ridd, who says that our beautiful faces greet him at nights when he's bored and doesn't know what else to watch. So thank you, Daniel, for supporting us, and we love everything you do. And we will see everyone next week on Basement Quality Banter International Edition.
Well, who's going to be international? Or is it
Oh, it's just because apparently we've got fans
gone,
in Brazil and Nicaragua.
gone global?
Nicaragua, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, and
Um,
Canadian fans, get your numbers up. Jeez, come on.
hey.
Hey, buddy, I'm
All
not
right.
your pal guy.
On that racist note, let's end.
All right, we're not, no, no, friend, all friends.
Stereotypical abuse. I guess it's not racist. It's stereotyping abuse.
Yeah. Let's end it
It's
on
from a
that.
place. It's from a place of love.
It's all from love. Yeah, you can pay us out too. It's all good. All righty. Catch you next week, mate.
See you
Bye.
later. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.